Hey guys, I just want to do a follow-up video to discuss some of the feedback and questions I've received and also recap on some things I've talked about before in some of my older channels just so that everyone can get that. This is my opinion and my experience. I will say that I have read almost every story online. I've read every article in relation to the Ashton Manual and benzo research. So I have a lot of knowledge in this area because of the last 3 years that I've been dealing with it. And the information is very powerful, but can also be damaging as well. So I just want to go through some of this so you guys can get a general idea of my knowledge. Okay, so I'm 30 months off of benzos, and I was on, at the height of my Xanax, like 1.5 to 2 milligrams a day in divided doses. I was on Xanax for 6.5 years. Okay, so first I want to say that anyone who's dealt with withdrawal or is going through anxiety or depression, that we're all kind of soldiers in an army of truth, because there's a lot of interesting things that come out of our suffering that hopefully will empower us or help us to create a better future for future generations. Now, I want to start off with some interesting information I've learned recently. They did a study, I think I talked about this before, about basically indigenous and Amish communities don't have depression, don't have anxiety. So depression and anxiety are really a cultivation of contemporary society and the degradation of our lifestyles. I can touch on that in other videos, but a majority of people that come off of Xanax, and even people that have been on really high doses, I talk to people all the time. Talked to a woman the other day who was on 8 milligrams for 10 years. She's doing fine. Didn't have much withdrawal at all, and she quit almost cold turkey. So 90+%, let's say 90 to 95% of people, even according to Dr. Ashton, they don't have PAWS or post-acute withdrawal syndrome. I mean, there is a withdrawal, but it lasts a couple months in most people, and this is the truth. Whether you agree with me or not, that's up to you. Not to say that, 5% of millions and millions of people, that's a lot of people. So that's a big community of people that are suffering from long-term withdrawals. Now, there's a lot of things that can go into that and what causes that. Everyone's different. Everyone's physiology is different. So what you're going through is not what necessarily someone else is going through. Some people might be on for short duration and have very long effects. Other people might have been on a really long time, high dosage with very little withdrawal. So you can't really, it's hard to gauge your own experience based off of other people, but we can kind of figure out what's going on under the hood and do our best to heal ourselves. So I went through a lot of trial and error, and one of my questions that I get asked is, the supplements, am I worried that they make things worse or make me have worse withdrawal? Yes, that's something I worried about for a long time, further aggravating the GABA receptors through different supplementations. I worried about that for a long time as I tried different things. because I was desperate to get my life back. And I want to say that Xanax is a great Band-Aid, or Klonopin, or whatever benzo that you're familiar with. It's a great Band-Aid. I mean, it can basically make you feel great within a few minutes of taking it. And when I got on it, keep in mind that I was medication free. I wasn't taking any medications. I just graduated college, and all of a sudden I was having panic attacks, like 5, 6 a day. My body just completely was shutting down. I couldn't leave my room. I couldn't do anything. And then Xanax came along and completely made me feel normal almost instantly. So at the time, it was a miracle for me. I went on trips across the country. I traveled with the Army. Excuse me. There's something stuck in my throat. So I was really leading a pretty good life. I started dating my now wife at that point, and I was on a really low dose. I was probably taking 0.25 to 0.5 milligrams a day, and I felt fine. I had energy. Everything was good at that point. So Xanax, to me at the time, was a miracle. I didn't know the long-term effects and that sort of thing, but over time I kept reaching, I guess, tolerance, and I slowly went up on the medication. I never abused it, never wanted to, but I did drink a lot of alcohol on the weekends, and my lifestyle was very poor. So anyway, all that being said, once again, my heart goes out to people that are suffering. I'm suffering. But it's not always that when you stop Xanax and it's been 2 years, and when I say Xanax, I mean benzos. When you quit taking a benzo and it's been a couple years and you're just not getting the results, you're not getting the windows, what's wrong with you? You're going to be like this forever. The biggest question is, did you ever address the root cause of the original anxiety? And once again, this is my opinion, but there's a lot of facts to support this, a lot of studies. I mean, for me, I was having panic attacks constantly before the Xanax, and in retrospect, suffering from depression since childhood and anxiety, general anxiety. So I was already dealing with that prior to the Xanax. So imagine coming off a medication that's masking it, on top of having the original disorder not being treated. And you can ask anybody that knows me, I am anti-medication. I hate medication, especially since the Xanax situation. So I'm never going to push medication. I don't believe in pharmaceuticals for everybody. I think that 95% of people can get better through TLC, therapeutic lifestyle change, and other sorts of things like that. Okay, that being said, I had an anxiety disorder, so now I'm not treating it, and things got really, really bad for me, and I'm back to square one. Well, through some audiobooks and breathing exercises, lifestyle change, I completely eradicated my panic attacks. I mean, they were gone. But I was having a lot of physical symptoms, and now I realize, yes, Xanax plays a big role, but my residual problems were long-standing problems, and my physical tension and burning skin and some of these other sensations are a result of chronic stress, generalized anxiety, constant worrying and stressing, and that has all led to my depersonalization, my derealization, which further, stress really complicates things. It depletes chemicals in the brain. It can cause a lot of issues. And as horrible as Xanax is, anxiety in itself is extremely damaging. A lot of people are going years without treating their anxiety in hopes that their brains are just going to magically get better. And when I say treating, I don't mean medication. exercise, healthy diet, you could have an allergy to dairy. A lot of people do. Almost every human being on earth is allergic to dairy, so in varying degrees. You could have a grain allergy or a gluten allergy, or eating fast food has MSG. That's raising glutamate in the brain. That could be more damaging than Xanax. It does the same thing. If you eat a lot of MSG, that's altering your brain chemistry. That can cause panic attacks. It's been proven to cause panic attacks. Genetically modified foods, pesticides, all these things can go into causing problems for some people. So sleep, very important, which that's the biggest thing I'm working on, is trying to get sleep. So it's not always Xanax. I suggest people step back and take a look at the other factors in their lives and the things that they're not doing and the deficiencies that could be aggravating your Xanax withdrawal or slowing your healing and so forth. So I also plead with people to not get so ingrained in benzo buddies or other research. And I do that all the time, but I found myself, there's a very wise quote where, and I might get this wrong, but the guy said that anxiety, stress, it's like a puzzle. You want to figure it out, and you've been sitting there for years trying to figure out this puzzle. You're putting it together, you can't find the right pieces. Well, finally the guy just said, you know what? I don't need to solve the puzzle. And he got up and walked away, and he felt better for it. It's a lot like that. If you could somehow just distance yourself from the worrying and just say, you know what, I have anxiety, I'm going to deal with it. I'm not going to research it. Slowly, you come out of it a lot more. And yes, I've had windows. Windows used to be very fleeting, a few seconds. Now I've had hours. When I started taking the Lamictal, I really started having some crazy windows, feeling like kind of like color was coming back in my life. So I'm at the point now where I've spent 3 years trying everything under the sun, supplementation wise, and I've had some success. Like magnesium really helps with GABA receptors. There's a lot of supplements and vitamins that can help. B vitamins can help in these conditions. So in my opinion, you have to treat your anxiety. I mean, you were on benzo because you had anxiety. Now you're off the benzo. How can you? I mean, you already had anxiety. You're not treating it. I mean, I don't hear enough people talking about that. So you got to find another way, a more holistic way to treat your anxiety. And there is a plethora of information out there, books and studies and natural remedies that can help. And I'm not making light of benzo withdrawal. I'm just saying that a majority of people won't have extreme withdrawal effects that are long lasting, and these people might get caught in a trap of looking online, reading horror stories, and then getting scared, exacerbating anxiety, when the truth is that they're the problem. We're our own worst enemy. That you got to find that strength to make those changes, and it's hard to do, but I've done it. I quit caffeine, quit sugar, quit alcohol, quit all those things, quit stimulants, and I exercise. I have to drag myself to the park to go running, but after I run, I feel a lot better. So, and if you don't deal with your anxiety, it can lead to dementia, and it can lead to all kinds of problems down the road. Anxiety and stress is extremely damaging. So I want to say all that, and to address some of the questions that I've got, and but I also think that supplements have really helped me in a lot of ways. But I'm finally as you can see in my other videos, at the point where I'm tired of wasting my life waiting and waiting and waiting, and I researched medications and realized that I need to slow my glutamate, and I know you can do that through lithium orotate or NAC or tianeptine. There's a lot of other remedies, but I'm giving lamotrigine a try, and if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work, but I got to do something because I've missed out on too many opportunities with family and friends because of my fears and worries, and I've seen some really vivid windows and colors starting Lamictal. So that's my experience, and I'll continue to post updates and answer any questions, and God bless you all. Just try to take care of the best you can, and this too shall pass, but we all can make choices that can strengthen our healing. Okay, thank you.